on between Elon and Trump, even though there's some stories out there that they're saying Elon's caving and things like that. I don't think he's necessarily caving. I think there's more. This is going to continue to actually get even worse, to be honest. But Trump has now threatened Elon that he will receive consequences if he uses any money to back the Democrats. Now, that's an important thing, because before I even read this, really think about where we are in our society right now, in our country, where a president can threaten somebody consequences if they use their money to back the party that they like. Think about that for a minute. That he literally said he will suffer the consequences if he gives any money to the Democratic Party. I mean, I don't understand how this has become the new normal. I don't understand how people are not outraged. We have the military driving around in Los Angeles right now, snatching people off the street with no due process. And we have the man who's doing that telling people that there'll be consequences if they give any money to the other party. I mean, where are we as a country? I mean, this is getting crazy. It's getting absolutely insane. Anyway, so let's read. President Trump threatened Elon Musk with serious consequences should he decide to fund Democrats in upcoming elections. The latest in the ongoing public spat between the world's richest man and the world's arguably most powerful one. Mr. Trump told NBC News' Kristen Welker in a phone interview on Saturday that he has no desire to rebuild his relationship with Musk after the billionaire criticized the budget bill passed by the House lawmakers last month. When asked by Welker if his relationship with him was over, the president said, "I would assume so, yeah." Now, I want you guys to know this was written 3 hours ago. So regardless of all the crap you've been hearing about Elon caving and everything's coming back together, it's nonsense. They're trying to do everything they can to make you think that, but it's nonsense. So Trump goes on to say, "I'm too busy doing other things. You know, I won an election in a landslide. I gave him a lot of breaks long before this happened. I gave him breaks in my first administration and saved his life in my first administration." Think about what he said right there. I gave him breaks in my first administration, saved his life in my first administration. What does that mean? Well, we know what it means. We know, or at least unless your head's buried in the sand, we know that Trump has done a lot to keep Elon from going to prison. Multiple investigations have been started against Elon Musk, ranging from workplace violations to putting products out that have manufacturing defects. Whole bunch of concerns, lots of things. Also, insider trading. They wanted him for insider trading because of things he was doing on Twitter, back when it was Twitter. And Trump helped make all that go away. He sure did. And then, of course, Musk giving him $275 million to help sway the election, which he admitted, which is disturbing that we live in a country where somebody can just use their money to just completely overthrow Democratic voting, and just completely sway elections. At that level, I mean, it's beyond egregious. But now here's Trump admitting that he saved his life. And then he says, "I have no intention of speaking to him." The president also issued a warning amid chatter that Musk could back Democratic lawmakers and candidates in the 2026 midterm elections. He won't need to. Historically, whenever there's been an all right-wing president or a right-wing president, an all right-wing House and an all right-wing Senate, and an all right-wing Supreme Court, historically, which this has happened before, every time there's a wave of blue during the midterms, and vice versa. Whenever there was historically a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate and a Democratic Supreme Court, there's always been a wave of right-wing votes during the midterms. This is kind of what makes America awesome, is that we do sort of always see when things are not in balance, and we use our votes to put them in balance. The only concern this time, of course, is that Donald Trump has been trying to have Elon Musk use his voting systems to have the states use his voting systems during the midterms and to put Doge in charge of elections. So understanding that, if Elon doesn't want Trump to win, I think we know that if states adopt his technology to do the votes, that there'll be no stopping Elon from getting what he wants. I think we all are aware of that, or should be. So Trump goes on to say about backing the Democrats, if he does, he'll have to pay the consequences for that, Trump told NBC. Though he declined to share what those consequences would be, of course. Musk's businesses have many lucrative federal contracts. Yeah, he could threaten to shut down contracts, but think about this for a minute. What is going on in America right now where a billionaire can support a candidate and have that candidate go, I'm going to do everything for you. What do you want? I'll fire these people. I'll get rid of these people. I'll get rid of investigations on you. I'll do everything for you. And then the moment that billionaire says, you know what? I'm mad at you. I'm going to fund somebody else. And he says, oh, there's going to be serious consequences. I'm going to cut all your funding. This is insanity. This is insanity that we have never seen. It's unprecedented levels of insanity that we have never seen, at least since I've been alive. And I'm a historian well-versed in a lot of American history. And I can tell you there's never been a time documented in American history when anything has ever happened at this level. Absolutely insane. But what I want to say before I let you guys go, what I think that the Elon Trump beef really touched on or has proven is that the Democrats are right again. That the Democrats are right again. Time after time after time, these Republican conservative fascists, every single time that they end up taking over our government, they try to stop progress. Women from voting, having rights, black men from being able to vote, civil rights. Now it's trans people using bathrooms. There's always a level of bigotry with these people. And every time, 10 years from now, there'll be grandchildren that will be like, I can't believe that my grandfather was so stupid that he was on the Trump administration trying to keep poor trans people from being able to use a bathroom or whatever, or play a sport, or all of this stuff is the wrong side of history, and it's always been on the wrong side of history. Always. That's why we look back on Adolf Hitler and Mussolini with disdain, because they were on the wrong side of history. Fascism is never the right side of history. When we look back on him using the military to go and grab people off the street with masks on and deport them without due process, that is not going to be looked upon greatly by historians. That's not going to be looked on greatly by the future. 1,000%, it never has. And when Trump makes insults to Elon and says, well, Elon's a drug addict. That's funny, because when the Democratic news said that Elon was a drug addict, everybody called it fake news. Everybody said that it was fake news. And now Trump, now that he's mad at Elon Musk, says he's a drug addict. When the Democrats said that Trump was in the Epstein files, everybody called it fake news. And then when Elon came out mad at Trump and said, they're not releasing the Epstein files because Donald Trump is in them. Now all of a sudden, what? The Democrats were right. And if you listen to everything that they're saying, Trump said, you know, it's really been a problem to our bloated budget is these unbelievable subsidies we're giving Elon Musk. Democrats have been saying that for a while now, but when they said it, it was fake news. But now conveniently, when Trump and Elon fight, Trump says it, right? So when you sit back and you look at what they're both saying to each other, Democrats said tariffs were going to cause a recession in 6 months. Oh, that's fake news. Elon Musk tweeted it yesterday. Trump's stupid tariffs are going to cause a recession in 6 months. Because it's the truth. We know that all of these things that they're saying about each other are true because the Democrats have been saying it all this time. In fact, a lot of people, which I find funny, are saying, I can't believe this is happening with Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Nobody could have saw this coming. The Democrats have saw this coming all along. All along. 5 months ago, it was all over the place that Democrats kept on saying, we are going to watch a feud of egos shatter between these two at some point. It's only a matter of when. And that's what happens. When you have two egomaniacal sociopaths who are completely narcissistic and full of themselves, egomaniacs. This was bound to happen. They're both using each other. It wasn't a real friendship. Elon was using Donald to get what he wanted. Donald was using Elon to get what he wanted. And when they both end up having an issue, and that bond breaks, or I guess you could say that arrangement breaks, because neither of them are doing good for one another anymore, or there's nothing to be gained anymore from the relationship, it falls apart. And that's what we're witnessing. We're witnessing a relationship built on incentive. And those incentives are no longer there. And now, all of these MAGA people who diehard believed everything that Musk said and diehard believed everything that Trump said, they're having cognitive dissonance. They have no idea what to do now. They don't know where to go. Where do we go? What do we do? Oh, Tom Powell, nice to see you. Yes, worse than a soap opera. Absolutely worse than a soap opera. Unbelievable. They don't know what to do. They're confused. I mean, blah, 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 but I thought everything Musk said was true. And when the Democrats said that he was lying, I thought it was fake news. I thought everything Trump said was true. And when the Democrats said that he was lying, I thought it was fake news. But now Elon is confirming everything Democrats said against Trump. And Trump is confirming everything the Democrats said about Elon. And I don't know what to do. My head's going to explode. What do I do? They're totally lost. Their movement is broken. And then you have Steve Bannon calling for Musk to be deported. You have Steve Bannon doubling down on things that both of them, or that Musk, or doubling down on things that Musk has said about, or that Trump has said about Musk. And you know, this whole thing, you have Steve Bannon MAGAs, you have Donald Trump MAGAs, you have Elon Musk MAGAs, and they don't know whose side to choose. And you know, I said this in my podcast yesterday, but I'm going to say it again. Asmongold, a video game podcaster who plays video games and talks about gaming a lot, leans right wing, and so does his audience. And I watched him the other day struggle with what to do in this situation. And I remember he didn't want to tell his audience who to side with. He didn't say, guys, you need to side with Elon, or guys, you need to side with Trump, and here's why. Because he's not smart and he's not informed, just like your typical MAGA. And so he looked at his comment box like this. He looked at it like this, like stared at it. And he said, guys, he said, what do you think? What do you think? Who are you for? Who are you siding with? And he sat there and watched, watching the names, Elon, Trump, Elon, Trump, Elon, Trump, Elon, calculating in his brain. You could see him calculating in his brain who there was more of. Why? Because he doesn't stand for anything. Nothing. The only thing that he stands for is more views, more clicks, more money in his pocket every time he makes a live broadcast. That's the only thing he stands for, which is what the vast majority of people stand for today, and it's disgusting. Everybody's about their own personal gain, and he's smart. He's smart enough to know better. Let me put it to you that way. He knows better. And I know he knows better. I'm going to make a whole video about this eventually. I'm working on it. But I'm going to show how he knows better. But he misleads because he doesn't want to lose his base. That's why he had to check. Well, I better pick the side. And I started noticing the more I saw Elon, I started seeing Asman go, yeah, well, Elon's cool, man. We got to go with Elon, guys. Yeah, we got to go with him now that you know what your audience thinks. This is exactly what the world we're living in is personal incentive driving the motive. And it's getting really carried away. Which, brings me back to this article. The relationship between Mr. Trump and Musk broke down publicly last week with the president threatening to cancel Musk's lucrative government contracts and Musk claiming that Mr. Trump could not have won the presidency without him, which is true. Elon Musk literally publicly stated that he couldn't have won it without him and that he's the reason why they have an all-Republican House and so on and so forth, which, that's just gross, that this stuff's just out in front and that they're just admitting it. He had posted several jabs against the president on X over the past week, including saying that Mr. Trump should be impeached and replaced by Vice President J.D. Vance. And those of you who saw me yesterday know that there's a reason why they want J.D. Vance to be president. There's a reason for that. And it's not good. It's not good. It's because they want to replace democracy with a tech matriarch. And that's the truth. Vance is very for that movement. Vance expressed his support for Mr. Trump, saying Musk was making a huge mistake going after Mr. Trump in a storm of bitter and inflammatory social media posts after a falling out between the two men. But the vice president, in an interview released Friday after the very public blow-up between the world's richest man and arguably the world's most powerful, also tried to downplay Musk's blistering attacks on an emotional guy who got frustrated. Now, why would Vance want to downplay it? I'll tell you why. Because he's looking at this like there's a possibility Vance is going to run for office in the next election. He wants Musk's money. That's why when Musk made that tweet that he put on X, where he said, I need you to think about it. Trump will only be around for 3.5 years. I'll be around for another 40. That was a direct threat to Congress people saying, you better choose me because I'm the guy whose money you're going to need to win elections for the next 40 years. You're not going to need Trump because in 3.5 years, he'll be useless. He'll just be a guy that used to be president. And that's a fact. But it's not a fact that I'm happy to admit, and it's not a fact that you should be happy to admit either. Anyway, please like the video. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 6,000 subs. I love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you every day at 6 p.m. Thanks.